back then, so 2008, another, era-defining thing happens, which is the Satoshi white paper, right? That's all a function of this. It's all a function of the same thing. And I think this whole thing ends with a whimper and not a bang. If it was going to end with a bang, it would have done it last year. If there was no intervention by government, it was the end of everything. But it didn't happen that way. So they've got the trick that they know is debasement, hides the reality. So what's interesting is people start to figure this out. They've started to figure out they're getting screwed. And the figuring out getting screwed drives you to look for answers. The traditional answer was gold. Hasn't done great. It's done okay. It's done its job. But the problem is the millennials can't generate wealth. If gold defends your wealth,
right? Nothing to defend.
Nothing to defend.
Yeah.
So it becomes incredibly difficult to generate wealth. Bitcoin comes along, it changes the equation. It takes a long time for people to see it, but these things, this adoption takes a while. But people realize, okay, here is a construct, a technological construct that has ubiquitous global scarcity. And therefore, if we all perceive it to have value, then it shall be so. And so the migration begins. And I think of it as a migration to this parallel financial system that's being built in front of your eyes. The rise of DeFi was the other huge thing that happened. People haven't got their heads around what this means yet, but it is gigantic because basically people don't trust financial intermediaries any longer. Again, they want to blame somebody, so blame the banks. It wasn't the bank's fault. They just did the rational thing.
This is rational again too, right? If you can get a financial product of any kind with less counterparty risk that renders the same services, of course, you're going to opt for that.
Of course. Of course. And, that was the first thing. I saw it very fast when I saw Bitcoin 2012. After Europe, I realized, okay, yeah, I get this totally. This is the future of everything because I'd learned some shocking things in 2012. I went around the world to try and start the world's safest bank. And at the time, my idea was it should hold all deposits in treasury bonds of whichever country it was going to be. And they would be default risk free, pretty much so, and I tried to do it, but it's very hard to start a bank. And, I had some kind of pretty wealthy people, well-regarded people with me on that journey. It was just too hard. And then somebody showed me Bitcoin and I thought, okay, this is interesting. And then I was at somebody's branch, I won't name them. And we had a meeting with the DTCC, who clear and custody all US securities, the New York Fed. I'd read a book, I can't remember what it's called, about the European side of the equation in 2008. And Euroclear is the European equivalent of DTCC. When Lehman went under, everyone stopped paying into Euroclear. So this is the clearing and settlement of all bonds, equities, everything. Because nobody knew what collateral there was. Then 2012 comes. So what happens is over that period, the ECB lends Euroclear $50 billion on the day Lehman goes under. And what was shocking in the book is, as collateral, they took the bank's positions. At Euroclear level, they're not segregated with customer and house positions. So basically, had it got worse, had AIG gone under, which was a AAA credit, the whole system would have taken a haircut, and we wouldn't have known. So what we think is segregated and safe is actually not segregated and safe.
Right.
So then when Europe almost went under, we almost lost a sovereign state. That is the collateral of the system. That is the bottom of the pile. That is everything. And that is why Europe could not go. Because if it went, then that's the end. Because then the collateral layer is gone. The safest collateral of all, the government bond layer. So then I'm in this room with the DTCC and the New York Fed. And I say to the DTCC, I said to the Fed first. I said, so let's say the DTCC has a huge default and JP Morgan defaults. Yeah, there's a problem, goes under. And there's a big hole because nobody's paying anybody anything. The system freezes up. What do you guys do? I said, oh, we'll lend them money. They can't go under. Great. DTCC, at that level, what do you pledge as collateral? And said the same thing that the ECB did. And I said, is there a segregation at your level between customer and house? No. I'm like, okay, so nobody's safe. So the point being, what Bitcoin saw to me was that blockchain allowed the secure recorded ownership of everything, where it was traceable to who owns what.
Right.
That